Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and in today's video, I'm going to be showcasing another buffed Pokemon from the Season 24 balance update for Go Battle League, and that is Jirachi. This season, Confusion, Jirachi's fast move, now gets extra energy generation, and it gets the incredibly cracked move of Aura Sphere. 80 damage, 40 energy cost, a fighting type clone of the move Hydro Cannon. Jirachi's signature move Doom Desire has the same 80-40 stats, meaning it has pretty inexpensive moves that are incredibly efficient. So without further ado, let's hop on the matches and check out how Jirachi performs in the Open Great League. We're off to a great start in game number 1, Galarian Moltres into Annihilate. Opponent save switches into a Bastiodon, and that's going to be swiftly punished by Jirachi. Bastiodon will grab the first shield with Flamethrower, but they're about to feel the wrath of Jirachi's pacing. 2 Confusions and the Aura Sphere is going to be perfect timing against the 3-turn Smackdowns from Bastiodon. They commit the shield, but Jirachi is already at 2 more Aura Spheres. I need to guarantee that I land this move, so I'm going to wait the turn. As soon as the Smackdown starts, I can connect with this Aura Sphere. This Aura Sphere will not KO the Bastiodon, but it puts them in a range where even if they pivot it out, I can deal with it with the Corsola or the Credilli. Now I can overfarm so much with the Jirachi. Opponent saves the Bastiodon, in comes Annihilate, and I save all the energy on Jirachi, and back in comes the Corsola. Corsola will take super effective damage from Rage Fist, but that's really not a problem. They weren't boosted yet. Now I can farm up just shy of the back-to-back Nightshades, and this is going to be the end of Annihilate. Nightshade picks up the knockout, in comes Bastiodon. Bastiodon survives on very low HP to make a last-second Stone Edge, but this just will not knock out. They end up flamethrowing, I guess worried about a catch onto the Jirachi, and in the back, they have a Dragon Tail Steelix, and they're not even going to get to see the third. As in comes Jirachi, we're already at 2 more Aura Spheres. Jirachi just absolutely shredding this entire team. Annihilate plus Steel has never felt so helpless. Aura Sphere number 2 KOs the Steelix, and that's a good game. We move to the next match, picking up a good lead Galarian Corsola into Shadow Marowak. Now, Galarian Corsola, if it's high rank, actually has a very good Zero Shield matchup against the Marowak. Marowak will go for the Bone Club, that's very okay, and now I will go for the Nightshade. Nightshade will not knock out, my opponent can choose to no shield if they want to, and they will do just that. Now, I should barely be able to hang on here. Bone Club will land, I'm able to bank the move, save switch into Credilli, opponent sends in a Dragon Breath Shadow Charizard. Charizard will go straight for the Air Cutter. I'm always going to be no shielding, but that does a solid amount of damage, and they're able to get the boost. That means that my Rock Tomb will put them back to their normal attack stat, but for Charizard, that's still a very scary attack stat. Charizard will be able to knock me out with the Air Cutter, but I can trade a shield for massive farm on Jirachi. My opponent will be able to get to a Blast Burn, but I'm now very ahead on energy with Jirachi, and Steel fighting offensive coverage is pretty nice. In the back is Corsola, they try for the catch, and thankfully they do not get it. Unfortunately, I didn't time my charge attack perfectly, but either way, Doom Desire is such an efficient move that I should be fine, as my Jirachi, even though it's terrible IV, can make the back-to-back Doom Desires. Doom Desire lands, I switch into my own Corsola to force a simultaneous KO, but my Jirachi's still alive, so we take the win. Moving to the next match, Galarian Corsola into Shadow Charizard. One thing to note about this team, it's very, very weak to Dark types as a whole. This is a tactical choice, as with Togekiss being so common, people are kind of moving away from Dark types, at least in these first few days of the season. Obviously, if Dark types come back, then a team like this would not be nearly as effective. But for now, with the Dark types gone, this team ended up working amazingly for me. I send in Jirachi once I get a shield advantage, opponent now sends out a Azumarill into the Jirachi. Oh my goodness, and it appears they just do not have an answer. Doom Desire will connect, that's some pretty sizable damage. I will go for Doom Desire number 2. Even though Azumarill should be walled, the fact that they brought in Azumarill makes me think that Jirachi is going to have a good amount of play in the back. So I figure I may as well keep the health, go for a nice Confusion down. I'm so happy that first Confusion did not KO as I get even more farm. Let's see what they have in the back. That Charizard is very low, they actually have their own Jirachi, and this could get a little bit tricky. Jirachi will take quite a bit of damage from Aura Sphere. I'm going for my Aura Sphere as well. I think if I can catch an Aura Sphere onto Corsola, that's just going to win the game for me on the spot. So I'm going to throw 2, switch into Corsola, and catch the Aura Sphere. Let's go. But they read it. They went for the Doom Desire. Oh, that's a nice play. And now I bring in Credilli. The good news for me is Credilli should not get KO'd by a Doom Desire. It's going to do a ton of damage, but Credilli should hang on. And now I'll get to knock them out with the Grass Knot. That was great situational understanding there by my opponent. My Jirachi was low enough that they realized they could just go straight for the Doom Desire, and that would also cover for a catch. We move to the next match, Corsola into Corviknight. This matchup not nearly as comfortable as it used to be because Corviknights are now running Payback. My opponent does end up throwing Payback on alignment. Obviously, this is early days in the season, so we'll end up seeing more timing mistakes and stuff like that from opponents. But as the season goes and as ELO progresses, then we typically tend to see a bit less of that. Here, my opponent will put up a shield. I was really happy to get the shield call right on the Payback because as Corsola, if you're able to correctly shield Paybacks, then this matchup feels amazing. But if a Payback lands, things do get tricky. I decided to double shield to Corsola. They save switch into Carbink, and I bring in the wrong Pokemon. I should have brought in Jirachi. Jirachi's a complete wall to energy from Carbink. Doom Desire is double super effective, but I brought in the Credilli. Obviously, Credilli still beats Carbink, but it would have been a really nice opportunity. I could have overfarmed a ton with the Jirachi, and I still would have had the debuffing power of the Credilli for the endgame. But now, if they have something bad in the back for Jirachi, things could get a bit tricky. Grass Knot will pick up the KO. It's a Marowak in the back, and oh, I'm kicking myself for not putting Jirachi on the Carbink. It is a non-Shadow Marowak, interestingly enough, so they won't deal nearly as much damage as they would if they're the Shadow. That also means that this Nightshade is not going to do a ton of damage either. I don't think the Nightshade is going to put them in a range where I can potentially Confusion down later. Here, I'm just going to overfarm as the Corsola. My opponent can knock me out, that's fine. I just need to try and clutch the game with Jirachi. So I'm going to wait down the timer to ensure my clock's up in case I want to go for a catch. In comes Jirachi. Opponent is going to switch into Corviknight, and Corviknight will actually get Confusion down, and now we get to take the win with the Doom Desire. Jirachi has felt like some pretty solid anti-meta so far. I really like the pacing on it, and it outputs really nice damage because his moves are just so absurdly efficient. We move to the next match, Galarian Corsola into Mudslap Nidoqueen. Nidoqueen doesn't even bother to build up to Bluff and Earth Power or a Stone Edge. They just go straight Poison Fang, and I'm just never going to respect that move. Now, I'm very happy playing Zeros as the Corsola and just looking for Jirachi farm. They will end up committing the shield. Oh my goodness, they don't even throw their move. I'm able to get a second Nightshade as well, and this works out amazingly. I'm going to bring in Credilli just to force their energy, and then I'm going to be 2-shielding Jirachi to close out this game. Even if they do have a Dark type in the back, Jirachi up 2 shields should be able to handle it. They're going to fire off a Poison Fang. I no shield. They fire off another move, another Poison Fang, and they switch into Azumarill. Clearly, if they're switching this in, then they're pretty weak to Credilli in the back. I will launch a Grass Knot. Grass Knot will inflict big damage. It looks like that's a non-XL Azu. Again, early days in the season. I will be shielding up the Jirachi just because I have to shield something in this game, but I will get a sick farm down, exiting with a lot of energy. The Nidoqueen's probably just getting knocked out by Confusion if they bring it in. It's Blastoise, they fail to catch, and the opponent is going to concede the match. Galarian Corsola, oh no, into Galarian Moltres, and we are almost assuredly going to lose this game. Galarian Moltres, this was the calculated gamble that I would not see this Pokemon. As with Togekiss being as common as it is, it makes it a bit tougher to run the Galarian Moltres. But it's here, and unfortunately, I'm at such a big team combat disadvantage just by seeing this one Mon that this game is probably just over. I am going to bring in Credilli. I will have to respect a potential Brave Bird, and if I can get rid of the Moltres, then maybe Jirachi can do something endgame. They're going to go for a payback. They save switch into their own Jirachi, and yeah, this is looking like a loss, unfortunately. I also am very, very weak to a Jirachi up energy once the Corsola is gone. So at this point, yeah, there is just not ever really a way out of this matchup. We are just completely team comped to smithereens here. This is absolutely brutal. It's a cool idea, though, pairing Moltres with Jirachi. Unfortunately, not cool for my team because my team just does not have answers to it. I will fire off Aura Sphere. Aura Sphere picks up the knockout. In comes Moltres, sending in Credilli. In the back is Empoleon. And yep, there it is. Credilli just had nowhere to run in the back. I can land a Grass Knot and grab a shield, but it just simply does not matter. The Galarian Moltres has a ton of residual energy, and Empoleon will get to farm up, and I can't overfarm enough on Jirachi to win the game. I don't even have the move on Jirachi, so I'm forced to throw instantly, and I'm just going to get outpaced by the Galarian Moltres. This team was a calculated gamble that I would not see Galarian Moltres. I saw it, and unsurprisingly, I ended up losing. Okay, we move to the next game. Thankfully, not a Galarian Moltres. It's going to be a Shadow Kanto Ninetales. Now, Ninetales obviously has brand new pacing, with Ember being a clone of Poison Sting. So this thing is incredibly spammy. I try and throw one in the move, and they're already at another Weather Ball. I like going straight Nightshade in this matchup. I'm at the very least still bluffing a Power Gem. They catch onto Gastrodon, and that's pretty okay by me. I'm going to send out Credilli. If my opponent wants to land this Water Pulse, they'll have to throw it instantly, which they do. Now, Water Pulse is a weaker move than Earth Power, so I can survive it pretty comfortably and just look to overfarm on Credilli. Credilli will launch the Grass Knot at the Gastrodon. Gastrodon does not put up the shield, and they will get knocked out. In the back, they have Como-O. Como-O, obviously a wall to energy from the Credilli. I'm going to fire off this Rock Tomb and then just send in the Corsola. The threat of a Nightshade is going to force them to throw energy, which is great. They go for the upper hand, not wanting to debuff themselves with Clanging Scales, but Galarian Corsola is too bulky. I survive, I'm able to grab a shield, and now in comes Jirachi. They're going to be sending back in the Ninetales. I will be shielding up Weather Balls, and then I will fire off the Doom Desire. Honestly, either move will KO here, so it doesn't really matter what I throw, but I just want to burn the shield of my opponent. Now, after landing the Confusion, I can switch into Credilli. If they didn't throw, it would have been a simul KO, so they're forced to throw their energy. And now Jirachi just gets the farm down and exits with the move. Como-O had a charge stack loaded. They win charge stack priority. They go for the upper hand. Honestly, I don't know if that would have KO'd. It is some pretty significant neutral damage, but with the shield to hide behind, it will not matter, as down goes Como-O, and we take the win. Moving to the next match, and it's a tricky lead, Galarian Corsola into Furret. Now, Furret, obviously not a fun matchup for Jirachi either, but I would say this is a far more playable lead than a Galarian Moltres. Furret will go for the Trailblaze. I'm going to go for a Power Gem and then look to safe switch into the Credilli. Many Furret teams do not have a good check to Credilli. A lot of the times they're Furret teams where they're really trying to force alignment, and the Pokemon in the back that want alignment are Pokemon that both lose to Credilli. They go for the Trailblaze. I will be firing off this Rock Tomb, and Rock Tomb will put their attack now to only +1. They shield. They are getting some value out of this Furret. Furret will get to knock me out with the Trailblaze unless I put up the shield, but I will do just that. Under-tapping the Rock Tomb, and are they willing to burn that final shield? Opponent says no, they're going to let that through. In comes Steelix. Steelix looking for a Thunderfang farm down, but they do not get it as I get a Grass Knot. So far, they are ABA weak to fighting, so the third is probably going to be some kind of fairy type. So I think Jirachi might have an ability to sweep. Crunch lands, picking up the KO. I'm going to be waiting down my clock. Obviously, the shorter switch timer is nice because waiting your clock is significantly more impactful. In comes Jirachi, just going straight for the Aura Sphere. I need to pressure the final shield away from my opponent, and I get just that. My opponent has high incentive to Psychic Fang's bait here, but I will still shield. I'm anticipating a catch, so I'll click Doom Desire. They switch into Dash Bun, and what a play. We land that Doom Desire. Now we should be able to just farm down and win. But I get worried about the damage I was taking. I switch, and I lose the game. I had to just stay in. I forgot about the new pacing on Dash Bun. We played our way out of a nightmare lead, but unfortunately, I throw right at the last second. Despite the tough lead, that game was super winnable, but unfortunately, we will end up losing it. Hopping into the final match, Galarian Corsola into Empoleon. Empoleon Hydra Cannons as soon as they get it, and I will look to no shield and return fire with the Nightshade. Nightshade does a lot of damage to Empoleon. Empoleon will put up the shield. They can go for the Hydro Cannon, and I'm deciding that I do like the idea of shielding back. Empoleon is really bad for Credilli, so if I can get Empoleon out of here, that would be quite nice. If they double shield, however, I am just going to save the shield for a one shield farm down with Jirachi. My opponent throws 2 in the move, ensuring that the second Astonish will not register, but now I get to send out the Jirachi. Jirachi will be shielding up the Hydro Cannon, and I just want to get as much energy as I possibly can, as I really feel like Jirachi up energy is a Pokemon that can give a lot of teams a lot of problems. So now Jirachi has energy. They're going to bring in a Marowak. I save the energy, pivot into Credilli, and my opponent will stay to fire off a Bone Club. I probably could have stayed to throw the double Doom Desire. In the back, they have a Wigglytuff, but in the moment, I wasn't sure because they're non-shadow if the double Doom Desire would have KO'd. Due to Wigglytuff's new pacing, they are going to outpace here. They get to the Icy Wind. This is super effective damage, but we hang on very low HP, and I'm going to be zero bubbling this Rock Tomb because clock's up. I can switch into Jirachi, get a full Confusion farm down, and I have the back-to-back Doom Desires loaded. Here's the moment of truth. I need them to knock out, and they will. That damage is very, very nice. Jirachi, second Doom Desire, KOs the Marowak, and that's a good game. All in all, I did have a ton of fun with this team. It's obviously an unbalanced style of team, where if you end up seeing something like a Galarian Moltres, it's probably going to be a loss. But for the games where I didn't see the Galarian Moltres, I honestly felt like I was really in a team comp advantage against the vast majority of teams. With Diggersby usage cratering due to the fact that Scorching Sands is only a 10% debuff chance instead of 30, it feels like Corsola is one of the safest mons you can use in this meta. Having a high rank Corsola, obviously going to be preferred. It's something that I never had when Corsola was originally good back in its heyday. I only got recently when I was casting the Milwaukee Regionals. I traded and was able to get a good Corsola. So I'm happy to see that Corsola has quite a bit of play, but enough yapping about Corsola. Let's talk about Jirachi. I think Jirachi is very competent anti-meta. It feels like it has the ability to break a lot of teams. I feel like it can be used as a little bit of a sweeper almost, because Confusion has nice fast move damage. You're getting to these Aura Spheres or these Doom Desires very quickly, and having two damage per energy moves is just absolutely crazy. Granted, it doesn't really have a nuke move per se, but in most neutral matchups, by the time you've thrown the Confusions to get to 2 Doom Desires, or if you need 2 Aura Spheres, those 2 moves will probably be able to knock out. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you as always to our channel members here on YouTube. The support you guys provide is sincerely appreciated. So thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.